Dawa James here. I am here with author Adam Bray, one of the four authors of the Ultimate Star Wars. I want to say Ultimate Star Wars guide or book. It's just Ultimate Star Wars. We're here in Carlsbad at the Carlsbad Library. We just finished up the signing, and then how are things going on the book tour so far?
It's awesome. It's been a whirlwind. I've been to let's see. I started in Indiana
Yeah.
and then Kentucky,
Wow.
then Tempe, Arizona, and here we are in Carlsbad. Then I'm off to Pasadena, then Portland, Oregon, and then back home for a little while. But next month I go out to Chicago.
Oh,
But
wow.
it's been a great turnout.
Yeah. And what is maybe some of the exciting part of being on a book tour and getting to meet different fans?
Um, well, one of the really exciting things I have to admit is meeting the guys with the 501st,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing the dedication that they have to come out to events and really make them special for all the fans, but make them special for Tricia and Dan and Ryder and I. Because as a fan myself, I would gladly stand in line for a long time to meet them and get my picture taken with those guys, because they spend so much time working on those costumes.
Well, if you were gonna do a costume, what would you pick for yourself?
That's a really hard one. There's something really nostalgic, I think, about just the basic stormtrooper
Mm-hmm.
design. So that would probably be what I would go after first.
So
Although,
just this guy right here.
yeah. But a guy of my size, it might be an interesting silhouette for a stormtrooper. But yeah, actually, on one of our book signings in Tempe, Changing Hands, they had one of the Force Awakens
Oh, wow.
stormtroopers, one of the very few that there are right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said they got together with Anovos and worked up the finished design really quick, and it looks fantastic. It's
Wow.
just so exciting to get my photo with that.
With the new episode 7
Yeah.
Stormtrooper. Cool. So what is, we talked earlier about what's in the book, how it's laid out. What are some of your favorite little subtle things that you put into it?
Um, well, I guess there's a lot of things here and there. It's fun to begin with, just to be able to work on the material, to be able to flip through the DVDs and the Blu-rays, and to look at other reference books. Um, I particularly enjoyed the what we call the key moments
Mhm.
spreads, where we take
Been fine.
yeah, they're kind of spread throughout the text, and
So, like this one here.
yeah,
This is a key moment, I think.
Oh yeah, Luke redeems his father. Yeah, this was one that I wrote, actually.
All right.
So you picked the right one. But these spreads, they're throughout the book, and they kind of take a step back and look at a key moment in the Star Wars saga, the movies or the animated shows, and they just kind of give you the bigger picture of what's going on, of all the characters, how they come together at this point, and all the plot points, how they tie together at this moment, and all the recurring themes. And I really liked this particular one, because it parallels with another one that I wrote,
Mhm.
about Anakin's choice when he finally turns against the Jedi and helps Palpatine, because these two scenes I found parallel each other,
Mhm.
in Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi, and it gives Anakin or Darth Vader a chance to kind of recast his original choice, almost a reboot on his whole
There we
life.
go. Yeah, no, and I think it's really neat that this book has these key events, because other, encyclopedic type guidebooks, they'll give you the background of a character or a piece of technology or something, but you don't necessarily see how it all fits together in
Right.
the larger sense of what the
Right.
story is. So this kind of says, hey, this is also the story of Star Wars, as well as being, a guide to every single character, or
Right.
every character. Now, When you got to do this, were there any characters that you were like, I want to write this character or write this one, and you found out it was somebody else's?
Oh, um, fortunately, on this book, we settled all that out in the beginning, so I don't think we had any last minute, swapping or trading or anything.
Okay.
But yeah, because I love Rebels so much, I worked on a lot of the Rebels characters. But because this book is laid out chronologically, you get.
There's some Rebels characters.
Yeah, there you go. You're pretty good at this.
I don't know. Hey, it's one of my favorite Rebels characters, Sakatra
Right.
of Vizaga.
Yeah, he is mine too.
How come he only gets this much then?
If I think. It's hard to say now. Looking at it back, there's a balance of photos and text. I think so. He's got a
big
larger
photo so
here.
that's good.
Yeah. He's got his own little spread. But I just love these characters. I think Dave Filoni and the gang have done a fantastic job.
Yeah. So are we going to be seeing maybe a second visual guide for Rebels, maybe, or?
I see
something?
I see in Amazon.com there is a second visual guide that's listed there. So.
Are you on that?
I think somebody showed me a listing on an online retailer that might have had my name on that.
Really? So we're gonna look forward to that, hopefully. Any other projects that you can tell us about?
Let's see. There was in the summertime is coming Star Wars Lego Into Battle. I think that'll be out in July, and that's a small reader, kind of similar size and format to my What Makes a Monster book. Nice, comes in hardcover and paperback.
Okay.
And that's for ages 8 to 12 in July.
And that ties in with the Lego Star Wars franchise.
Right. Yeah. That it covers the 6 movies and Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
I don't think we had any specifically Clone Wars stories in there. But all the main battles, the space battles and ground battles and duels between the Jedi and Sith. But from within the Lego universe.
All right.
And then in the fall, there is let's see, Star Wars, absolutely everything you need to know.
What, you mean there's more than just this that we need to know?
Yeah.
Or this has more that we don't actually need to know?
Well, the funny thing is, as comprehensive as this book is, the information in absolutely everything is very much different. I think there's very little, if any, repeated material between the 2 books.
Really?
And where Ultimate Star Wars is a comprehensive encyclopedia with entries for characters and locations and ships and technology. Star Wars, absolutely everything you need to know it's more of like a trivia book, full of really obscure facts and humorous anecdotes.
Okay.
It's got lots of statistics, and we've done a lot with numbers, pulled numbers of things from all over the Star Wars saga and the animated shows.
Does it also have information from behind the scenes as well?
That I don't believe had any behind the scenes information, whereas Ultimate Star Wars does. There are spreads periodically throughout the book.
Let's see if I can magically find one.
I have an idea you can.
All right. There's Luke redeeming his father. Okay, there's got to be. Here's one.
There you go.
Behind the scenes.
And you pulled up on the perfect page because we do have a Force Awakens behind the scenes photo here.
The cast read photo that was put out last year, but we've also got some cool photos from making of A New Hope and making of Phantom Menace.
We've got a Asajj Ventress concept art.
Yep, so we can kind of see the evolution of how movie making has changed through making different parts of the Star Wars saga.
Right. This is something DK seems to be doing a bit of recently in their books. For instance, my Rebels Visual Guide has some behind-the-scenes pages at the end of the book, and a little bit of interview excerpts I did with Dave Filoni and Simon Kingberg and Joel Aaron. So that's been a fun addition to DK's books recently. Is this behind-the-scenes
I think
stuff.
that will help inspire the next generation of artists and TV and filmmakers and get them excited, like, how do I make Star Wars and how do I make my own creative things? Yeah, so that's pretty cool. What else do we have in here? We have the section on locations and sections on the technology. That were there any particular parts of the technology or vehicles, and then we have the timelines that kind of outline the different aspects of how in this case the technology has moved and changed.
How it develops across the whole saga, and I think let's see. Okay, that one I guess is one spread. I think that some of the timelines might be even longer. I think they might cover a couple of spreads.
Yeah. I don't know. So, was there a favorite section of technology that you covered, or was it just mostly just Rebels era stuff? Or
right. Let's see. The technology. I wrote a lot. Well, I wrote some from Rebels and from A New Hope, and I think into Empire. There were some new bits that I got to do to contribute to the canon. One was, for example, Ezra's slingshot. That wasn't something that had really been talked about or explained in previous books or on the show. So I got to write a bit of new background and history on that, how it came about.
Which was we got Sabine's.
Oh yeah,
here,
we're probably pretty close.
Let's see. Oh, here, Ezra's lightsaber. There, Ezra's slingshot. Well, we got a own little entry on that.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say about the book, or something secret? Something snide about the other authors while they're gone?
No, the other authors are wonderful. Well, it's been fun getting to know the others on this trip. With my first couple days were with Dan Wallace in Indiana, Kentucky, and I just finished up Trisha and I on a couple of stops. So it's been really great to get to know these guys. They're a lot of fun because we don't actually get to talk a lot during the writing of the book because we're all assigned our own individual parts, and we're hard at work on what we've got. So we're not actually chatting very much unless we have a particular question. So this is the time during the book signings and conventions where we get to hang out.
I assume also you were working with the Lucasfilm Story Group as well to make sure that things meshed. I know you mentioned previously to me that you had written an entry for General Tag, and you got contacted.
Right. Yeah. I had presumed that he had died on the Death Star, but I think Marvel had other plans for him, and so at the time we were writing this, the Marvel comics hadn't started coming out yet. So this was information that the Lucasfilm and the Story Group was aware, but so that they had to help me out on some of the changes on what we'd known before. So that's kind of one of the things with our assumptions with Star Wars and the expanded universe. Some things we have to unlearn.
There we go.
what we thought we knew before, and because this book kind of it sets the new foundation as we move forward and get ready.
So were there other characters or locales or things where you had to dial back a little bit because they just said can't talk about that? Obviously, you don't want to name any particular things.
Right. I think with some of those main characters in the original trilogy, we just we don't know what's going to happen with them, and they obviously have a future, but we want to leave that to Disney and Lucasfilm to decide. So
Well, very cool. Well, thank you for taking time today to do this interview. And we've got the Ultimate Star Wars at 320 pages of awesome. And it's what, I don't know. Have we weighed this book yet? I think we need to weigh this book.
Yeah, I think you could probably measure it in bricks.
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty tome,
Yeah.
but you can pick it up and you can catch Adam. You're going to Pasadena next, and then
Yeah.
Portland. So look at the DK website for the tour dates and times. And thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. And follow me on Twitter at author Adam Bray.
There we go.
Oh my God.